Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. In fact, good day. I am so delighted to be here with my friend Jacqueline Kane, who is a medical intuitive and a low back pain specialist. Let me tell you, from my point of view, she's an all over body pain specialist, not just low back. The low back, Jackie will explain the meaning of that. And it just is, well, who am I? I am Janine Kathleen, a mindset alchemist, and I would love to welcome you to the Mindset Alchemy podcast, where we look at how your words, your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions are impacting your life, where they are messing you up, messing you around, or driving you forward, or even driving you to want to smack your head against the wall. The bottom line is, what are you doing in your life? Are you creating more or are you creating decay? Because that's what we do, and we're not even aware of it. I actually was on a networking event, and the question was, let me get it phrased correctly. It was, what is your unfair advantage in business? And I had this flash of revelation that my unfair advantage is that I'm able to see what you know and help you understand it. Well, I would like to share with you, Jackie is just as good at that as I am. And in fact, she takes you forward into what did your parents not understand that they know? Jackie, would you like to introduce yourself and explain how you came to be doing this, what your experience is, and what is the most vital thing you can offer our audience about the interesting point of view that pain can be, and where our ancestors have brought their wooden spoon along to stir the mess?
Well, I'm Jacqueline Kane, like you said, medical intuitive, low back pain specialist, and I help women get to the root cause of their physical, emotional pain and why they may be in debt and spinning their wheels in their business. And what I discovered was that a lot of the energy that we carry is so important, like you said, Janine, in how we create going forward and what we create and the results that we get from that. So when we look at the energy, a lot of the physical pain that women are carrying and feeling has been passed down. The debt problems in our finances has been passed down. The difficulty creating deep relationships has been passed down, along with the inability to stand in your power and speak up and be heard from an authentic place. So all of that can be impacting our lives, all areas of our lives. And when we understand that, and like you said, even the words that we say, right? Because our words create more of what we want, whether we realize it or not, right? So we have to be very careful of the words that we speak, how we say it, and what we're attracting, because we're manifesting more of what we want by the words we say. But are we attracting what we want or what we don't want? And that's the key.
Okay, now, if you're a client of mine, I would ask you to say all of that without the word want. Are you able
But
to do that? Not even but. We make the choice because we don't understand what we're choosing. And that's what you are so powerful with, is helping people understand what they are choosing. People, the reason why I'm making a joke of it is because, but we know that the word want means lack. So Jackie was actually using it correctly, where you lack what you're looking for, where you lack direction. So it very much is, yes, there's a correct place for the word want, and there's a place where we are literally shooting ourselves in the foot. Now, Jackie, expansively, please expand on that, especially about how we take on our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents and their great-grandparents, how we take on their limitations without even understanding that we've done this, please.
yeah, well, it starts in the womb, right? Because we are conceived in our mother's womb. We are conceived through the interaction of our mother and our father when they come together. we are created. They are energy, we are energy. So everything that they've experienced becomes us. And ancestral energy is the unresolved emotional issues of our ancestors. So they're carrying the positive along with the negative, the frustration, the sadness, the grief that they've experienced. And let me be clear, we've all experienced sadness and grief. It's been a really tough year in 2020, so we're experiencing that right now. And when we are conceived, all of that from all the generations before us come down and become us. And we're in our mother's womb growing in that energy. So it becomes our DNA. It becomes our beliefs, our programming, our conditioning. So they're even looking at epigenetics, is looking at the energy of the DNA, right? So if we look at all of this, how can we have anything different? Because then when we're born in that energy, in the unresolved emotional issues of our ancestors, then we are born into the world and we create from that space. So whatever is the strongest, if you're living in frustration, for example, I was the third child in my family. I had two siblings before me, and there was some chaos in my family. So literally, I was born into chaos. That's the
Ah,
energy I created my life from. That's the
ah,
energy I was creating my business from. I
yes.
had no idea back then. 20 years ago, nobody
Wow.
talked about this stuff.
They're
I
still not
just,
talking about it in a lot of spaces.
not to the level that can really help heal the planet on a massive global healing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's only
And
little pockets that people are talking about this. So that's why I'm grateful for you and your podcast that are getting the information out, right?
we're working on it. As you know, it's one of my goals to impact 2 million people's lives, not just women, 2 million people's lives, with the understanding that yes, we can clear this emotional pain. Yes, we can clear this emotional baggage. And may I add, and I would love your take on it, not only do we have our physiological ancestry energy, we also bring with us the energy of past lives, different families, different things. Although it has been shown that we normally stay within a range of 5 to 20 people that we consistently work through the ages with. And then I'll throw another curveball, which I would love your input on, is we live concurrent lives. And so we are concurrently clearing nonsense here and clearing nonsense what should be 2,000 years down the line. And as we clear it here, we're actually clearing it there. So we're clearing it now because we cleared something then that we're concurrently living. Are you still with me?
Yes, and because it's all energy, right?
Yes, yes.
Energy is expansive, time is expansive. It's just our beliefs about it that keep us limited in believing that it's impossible. But when we expand our mind, sometimes I'm driving to work and I'm running late, and I keep looking at the clock if I'm meeting somebody, and I start saying the words, time is expanding, right? And everything happens, get there at the same time or a little early. So it's only our thoughts that keep us trapped.
I
And
believe.
if when we clear the energy of our ancestors, then we clear it for the children, people coming forward, along with the people who are right here in our lives today. Everybody we interact with gets up leveled because we've shifted our energy.
Yep.
It's simply energy. It's like with the wind, right? It's just blowing it.
I
So
love it. It's like we the domino and we don't just fall one way. As we clear it, we do it through every direction, multi-directionally, and it's just so powerful. So now,
yeah.
Jackie, you brought forward a very, very interesting concept that so many people battle with. You and I understand it's just energy. Now, somebody like my husband, who when I first went on this journey, he had to make the decision, am I coming along on this? Am I comfortable? Okay, I love her. I'm going to come with. And he's actually, he's been very sweet and he's learned so much. And he keeps saying to me, well, what is this energy? How is this energy? And I just say to him, well, like you just said now, it's the wind, it's the sun, it's the moon and the stars, it's intangible, it's touchable, and it still is. How do you explain it to your clients from a very let's touch it tangible perspective?
And this is the one of the areas that it can be difficult to explain, right? My husband's an engineer. He can totally
Oh, yes.
understand how you flip a switch and the light goes on. That's energy, right? We don't
Yes.
see the current that's turning that light bulb on. Just like inside of us, we can't always see it, but you can feel it, right?
Yes.
You can
Mm.
feel those times when you feel on fire and excited. You feel those times when you're like down in the dumps and you're like, oh, this icky fear feeling. And it's the sensation in your gut that says yes to that or that says no to that.
Yes.
So it's it's a inner personal feeling. And you know those, Janine, you're very intuitive. You're my psychic, right? So we come with a whole system of guides and angels who are here to help us. We're not alone. And when you tune into all of that, life becomes easy. There's more flow. There's an energetic alignment, a soul alignment that comes to you, right?
Yes. Yes.
And when you go outside, there's a sense of well-being. There's a calmness. You don't, well, some people will see it, right? With energy, some people see it, some people know it or sense it, some people feel it. So we've always had this in us. And a lot of my clients, when we start working together, they are very sensitive individuals, and they had this ability to know things. And they were taught at a very early age that that was wrong, that their intuitive superpower was wrong,
Yes.
and we shut it down.
Yep.
Now it's time to open that up and heal that and get back into trusting. Everybody knows the answers to their life path inside of them. We've just been taught not to listen to it.
Yep.
So when we bring home the healing to our bodies and letting ourselves know that, and you know that you have it all inside of you, you have all the answers. We just have to quiet everything else down and choose to listen to our inner voice.
Absolutely. You have put it so beautifully. And for many of us, it's not even listen, it's to feel, to see, to hear as well. And what Jackie says there is profound. People, those of you listening on the replay, I suggest you rewind and re-listen to that, and then go and feel in your body where you feel Jackie's words, because it's where you feel it in your body and feel where that resistance is, that you understand where you've been shamed, blamed, ridiculed, put upon. And it takes focus to clear it. And with somebody like Jackie or my help, you are able to clear it at a very deep soul level. Yes, we all come to have experiences so that we have experience. We get to choose our hard. And I love what you said there, Jackie. If it's hard, go and look and see where it's out of alignment. Because
Mhm.
if you push in and shove in, it's not aligned. Have you
That's right.
had experience with that pushing, shoving, and hard?
Oh, absolutely. There are things my mind is like, we're going to do this. And then I'm like, took a step back and said, I probably shouldn't have gone in that direction. maybe if I asked my body, my intuition, which direction I should have gone, it may have shifted things and I may have found an easier path. And
Let's
Janine,
take May out of it and say definitely.
and somebody said to me yesterday that what if your body is your subconscious mind?
I absolutely resonate with that. It's something, Jackie, I work with. What is your body saying? And I
Mhm.
truly believe it might not be our subconscious mind. It is definitely in tune with our
Yeah,
subconscious.
yeah.
And actually, you know what? I agree with you, because we can know what's going to happen when we listen to our body. We can know what's potting. In fact, our body is very in tune with everything. I actually, this morning, I did I can't remember where I did it. Anyway, whenever this is aired, it won't be this morning anymore. And it was on it was all over social media, where our bodies know. Our bodies know, should you trust this person for now? Not that that person
Mm.
is untrustworthy necessarily. They may just not be aligned with where you are going. So yes, I agree with you about the subconscious, because you are under your consciousness tapping into what your body is saying to you. Do not go that route. Choose this path. Have you ever done this? I'll say to my body, what would we like to wear today? And body shows me this, that, or the next thing. And if I don't choose it, like, I'll give you an example. When I went running, I put on long sleeves and I heard body saying short sleeves, and I'm going, it's freezing outside and you want to put on. Well, I was very sorry. Luckily it was dark and I had a running bra on, because I took my top off and I ran with my running bra around the waist. I'll tell you, it was pitch black and my running light wasn't working. So I agree with you. Body knew I was going to get hot. Body knew it was going to get unhappy. And it's these things. Your body totally can be your subconscious, because your body is working beneath your conscious mind. And
Mm.
that's where the super consciousness comes in. And I know, Jackie, that with your ancestral work, your karmic work, you work with the super consciousness as well. And then, people, should we really blow your minds? Jackie's meant to be talking, not me. So I'm going to ask her about this as well. We tap into different levels of vibrational consciousness, and it's to ask, is this feeling mine, or is it another person's? Jackie,
Mhm.
please share on that for us.
So, so we have our own personal power. We have a lot of people are empaths and we absorb other people's energy. And there's also a universal energy, right? And so, and we're still carrying the ancestors, right?
Oh,
So we
how
have
does
to
it get
constantly,
any better than this?
and we wonder why we're having such a hard time, right?
Yes,
We
totally.
really have to give ourselves so much more compassion. So on those days when you're feeling fear, or you're feeling super stuck, ask yourself, is this mine? Is this universal? Start asking your friends. So Facebook is amazing right now, right? So everybody will start asking, anybody else tired? Anybody else feeling fear or sadness or grief? That means that on a global level, we're all healing something. We're all healing an emotion. And those are low vibration energies, right? And remember, most of us have been born into an environment that's in our defense. When we are living with sadness, grief, frustration, annoyance, all of those are low vibration defensive energies.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to clear them. And when I say clear, we go back and we heal the trauma that created it, so that we can live our day and our lives with a clean slate. It's
Yes.
like an erase board, right?
Yes.
We are literally erasing and healing that. When we do that, we heal it for ourselves, for past, future, everybody. And it also raises our vibration, because then we get to choose, well, how do I want to feel in this moment? What do I want to fill up my space with? Happiness,
Mm-hmm.
joy, excitement, possibilities. And how often do we live in that space, that vibration?
How often are we encouraged to or discouraged to?
Yeah.
I'm not, I know you've experienced that as well. People who are not in that space, they like the crabs that pull you down and don't let you escape to that, oh, I feel great feeling. Because isn't it easier to feel heavy than to feel light? And that's very,
Mhm.
what has your experience been with that? And then I'm going to come to a real nitty gritty question.
Well, it is. The world is kind of negative. You watch the news, turn on the radio. I have to work really hard some days to not do that because it can bring me down. I've had to set better boundaries for myself, even with my friends, the people I hang out with, as I
Mhm.
clear this, because I really like being in the higher vibration. And the world is so negative, it can be easy to just, today I'm just going to gossip and complain and do everything. And it's just easier because everybody else is doing it,
Oh, don't
right?
get me started on that criticizing, condemning, and complaining. Yo, people, shoot yourself in the foot, the butt, the back, and everywhere.
Blaming all of it, right? Poor me,
Ooh,
victim
yes.
mode. Oh, good Lord. We don't know
Self-sabotage.
how powerful we are.
Oh, just what can you imagine if we all had a deeper inkling of it?
Mm.
How powerfully different the world could be.
Mm-hmm. There was a beautiful, I ran across something this morning on Facebook, and there was this American photographer who must have gone to Africa. And, he was surrounded by these African little children. They were just so adorable. And he said, put something over by a tree, and he said, the first one to get to the tree wins. And the children took each other's hands and walked over or ran, I forget what they did, to the tree.
Beautiful.
They don't leave anybody behind. And I thought, wow, no competition. It's it's a united front. You're all family, you're helping each other. And to teach that at
Wow.
such a young age was beautiful.
I think a lot of adults should go and look at that. And it's not. And Jackie, I think that is what I've enjoyed the most is the way we've been able to work together to change, to bring without
Mm.
fear, to create. And I know you've helped your clients do that tremendously, is to bring that change into their life. If you could help, because what I've experienced in my life is I have a husband who's supportive. Not all spouses have supportive partners. What would you recommend to somebody who is starting this journey, would like to get rid of it, and whose spouse has not yet, or not even spouse, their partner has not yet come to understand the true meaning of joy for both parties should they step onto the path and work together?
Well, now you're speaking my language because, like I said, I'm more of the healer, right? And my husband's a concrete engineer. And no, it hasn't been easy. Um, but what I tell my clients is just take a breath and what's true to you.
Yes.
And when we do that, when we slow down, we can express our feelings in a way that we're being heard.
Mm.
And that's why I like doing the ancestral clearing, because before I started doing that, I didn't realize how much I was coming across as a victim, as a complainer, a nagger. And so people weren't hearing me. And so the more I stood up in my power, and it's a practice, right? Like this doesn't come overnight. You practice speaking up, because when you haven't been heard and you start to be heard, it's a little scary,
Yes.
right? And it's a
Yes.
little scary to actually stand up, shoulders back, take a breath, and speak up and be heard in your way. And
Mhm.
when you do that over and over and over again, people will start listening to you. And all of that will shift. And then you can have conscious conversations. Sometimes they're hard to have, but you can have the strength to have that conversation and feel really good that you spoke up and that you got your needs met and you were actually cared for. And decide, is this relationship for you, or is there another relationship that's better out there? Right?
Yes.
That's the choice and the decision you have to make. But make it after you've cleared the energy.
Yes, I feel that is where so many people go wrong. They think about it, they haven't understood the energy, and they haven't felt into it.
Yeah.
And they haven't given their partner or their people around them time to feel into it either. And it's when we feel into it, I so agree with you that, wow, we actually create space for the other person to be able to step forward. I have seen that in my family. As I have stepped forward, it has created space. I will share with you, it created extreme anxiety in my children. And I actually had to say to one of my children, give me the grace of allowing that I have grown and changed. Stop looking at me through a rear view mirror. And it was a very interesting shift. And I'm really grateful to say that through, as you say, the conscious conversation, the energy shifted.
Yeah.
And not only did it shift for my child, it encouraged them to shift for the people around them as well. And it has shifted for their sibling. It was really what you say, an ancestral clearing, because I know my parents and my husband's parents were never able to shift that. They lived life, well, more my mom than my dad. They lived life through a rear view mirror.
Mm.
And I could see where this had impacted in both my children. And it
Yeah.
was through having the conversation with one that created the space for the other one, which actually created space for my husband. And he was then able to build a relationship with his father. Um,
Mm.
they're still working on it. And it's been an interesting experience. It really, really has. And it's been one that I've been able to take away with my clients.
Yeah. And I think just allowing to have that space instead of so many people, and we've been taught to react. And I
Mm-hmm.
see that so much in society right now. We're pointing fingers. You're wrong. We talk to react instead of help me to understand your point of view,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't do enough of that. And
I firmly believe stop, ask yourself questions,
mm,
and then ask the person questions. Is this feeling from now? Is this feeling from before? Is this my feeling?
mhm,
And then ask the person you're with. I
yeah,
love it. Somebody the other day said, they said to their partner, you've asked me a lot of stuff. Give me 2 minutes. I just have to go and find myself in my head. And they went to their bedroom and they came out and they had found themselves and they were able then to have that conscious
yes,
conversation. And I just thought, what a beautiful way of dealing with it. But I'm just going to go and find myself in my head. And I thought, good, I wrote that down and I have put that to very good use myself. So, Jackie, where have you made space to go and find yourself within your body, within your space, and not just in your head?
oh my gosh, everywhere. I slow way down. Um, So before I would just do every day. I'd have a list. I'd get up running, got to do it, got to do it. And now I'm like, whoop, pulling all that back, slowing down, doing a lot less, um, and being okay with that, not beating myself up for not doing more,
Just repeat that for our audience, please.
not beating yourself up for doing less. What if we really were supposed to just slow down and enjoy life, enjoy where we're at, enjoy nature, at a slower pace, enjoy my food instead of inhaling it, enjoy drinking my water and slow down. What would that do for our children? What would that do for our families, for our clients, for the people in our lives? What would it do for you, right, in this moment? And I'm so much more in the present moment so that I'm not reacting. I remember when I was going through a lot of stuff in my marriage, I came across a woman, Allison Armstrong, I think is her name,
Mhm.
and she taught me about men and how men need time to think. So you
Mhm.
can ask them a question and then count to 50
Yeah.
and then count to another 50. And then I started doing that with my kids. And then I started doing that everywhere. What if we did that? What if we just allowed people, and you say the space, when we say giving them the space, it's like
Mhm.
giving them time to respond,
Yep.
right?
To
The
find
same thing.
themselves.
I love that.
That's beautiful. That if you had to ask me what's my biggest takeaway from today is count to 50 again. And see, I'm even saying it fast. Count to 50, count to 50. I'll share with you something I consciously began doing I began to speak more slowly because it gave me time to catch up with my body, even when I'm sitting down. You know, it's a
I
huge.
like that. Yeah, time to catch up with your body. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
It's so powerful. Jackie, I'm so sad our time is coming to an end for this podcast and interview and video. Is there one last word you would like to share with our audience? And then please share with them where they can find you.
Trust that you have all the answers inside of you for where you want to bring your life. And when you start asking, what's my next inspired action? Who do I need to be in contact with? The universe will make sure that you're in contact with that person. And you can contact me on Facebook, my Facebook group, Healing Circle by Jacqueline Kane, my website, jacquelinemkane.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's coming up for you.
So, people, now you know where to find this awesome lady. Go and get in touch with her. And Jackie, thank you for your time. I know how precious it is. People, we'll be back next week on Tuesday. Have a grand, glorious, and incredible day. Bye bye.